I will call this meeting of the Riverside Township Board of Trustees to order. Please rise. And Assessor Sitkowitz, would you please lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our recently deceased trustee, Leanne Blau. May she rest in peace. Okay, the roll call will reflect that Vera Wilt, supervisor, is present, trustee Clark, trustee Heilenbach, and that is all for now. Assessor Sitkowitz is here, but she doesn't count on the, but we do have a quorum. We have 3 out of the 5 voting members present. Before we get into everything else, I would like to make one adjustment to the agenda. Grant number 6 under new business C will be deferred to a future meeting, as we would not have a sufficient number of voting members because one would be abstaining. So with that, we will take a look at the approval of the minutes of the January 10th meeting.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
I have to abstain because I wrote them, so I don't know if we have to.
We may have to wait until next month to
Yeah.
actually
Approve 'em.
approve them, right?
But I see no corrections needed.
Okay.
So we can pass that till next meeting.
Okay, thank you. We will defer. That was one item that I didn't think of. All right. So, communications, could I have that folder? Forgot. That came first. Thank you. All right, we have a few pieces of correspondence. We have an invitation from Pillars, acknowledging their sponsors to their, let me see, to their event on, there's got to be a date here somewhere. Their upcoming event, their fundraiser. Let's see everything.
I think
Oh,
it's
there it
in-
is.
yeah. February something.
Yeah, it's already passed, so we were invited, we missed it. All right. We have a letter from the Riverside Chamber of Commerce. The Riverside Chamber of Commerce and the Holiday Stroll Committee cannot thank you enough for your contribution of magic show to this year's holiday stroll. As the event is mostly funded by private donations, the activities that take place that night would not be possible without your support. Thank you for helping us keep the traditions in place that our village residents have grown to love. And it is signed by the entire committee. And the committee has already started planning this year's event and looks forward to your continued support. We can't wait for another fantastic evening full of twinkling lights and smiling faces. And then we have a letter from Aging Care Connections. Dear Vera, I'm sincerely grateful to be writing to you today to thank you and the Riverside Township for donating to Aging Care Connections $182.50 from the Township Senior Citizens Calendars, which we received on January 17th, 2023. These much-needed funds will play a critical role in strengthening and sustaining our programs that enrich the quality of life among older adults and their families. From programs like care coordination and adult protective services to home-delivered meals and Aging Well neighborhood, older adults count on your services to help them live safe and healthy, our services to help them live safe and healthy lives as they age. We're honored by your commitment and belief in programs and services that highlight the diversity of our community. Riverside Township support will act as a continued investment in our work to enable everyone to continue living and thriving in their own homes and communities. On behalf of Aging Care Connections Board of Directors, staff, volunteers, and the almost 10,000 older adults and families that we serve, thank you for your commitment to helping older adults in Riverside Township age well. With gratitude and appreciation, Desiree Scully.
Supervisor, how much was that?
It was $182.50, which was the net proceeds of the calendars that were produced featuring some of our seniors. Okay, then on to, are there any public comments from people who are not here for a grant?
Good evening, everyone. I am here to talk about what's going on at the Township Assessor's Office.
Please identify yourself.
I'm the Township Assessor, Fran Sitkowitz, and it's the beginning of another year, so lots of exciting things happening for real estate taxes. I recently sent out an email to about 1,400 people who are registered in my email list, and those addressed a couple of things. First, the delayed property tax bill this year. The Cook County Treasurer's Office is delaying what usually happens. Usually, property tax bills are mailed at the end of January, due March 1st. However, this year, because the second installment from last year was so late, they are extending it to, they will be mailed the end of February and due April 3rd. And this was also causing a delay in the exemption application process. So, and this is the first year in 2 years that our senior citizens who are on the freeze are going to have to reapply for their freeze again this year. So a lot of things are happening that are unusual. So this usually generates a lot of phone calls, a lot of confusion and concern. So we're just trying to keep everyone calm and you know, get the information out in a timely manner for everyone and let them know that we're here to help them. The other issue that was addressed in the email was the Senior Deferral Program, which is a loan program that's administered by the Cook County Treasurer's Office. The deadline for that program is March 1st, and that is designed for seniors who are on extremely low income and they cannot pay their property taxes. It is a loan that they take out against their property, and it does put a lien on their property, so it really has to be something that's seriously considered. But it is a program that's available for seniors who are under those circumstances, and that deadline is March 1st. The other thing that happened just today is the Board of Review sent out their decision letters from the last round of appeals for the 2022 tax year, and which means that now that those decisions are made and that information is processed, the Cook County Assessor's Office will be able to reassess our township probably within the next couple months. I'm anticipating early spring for reassessment notices. So there's a lot going on, a lot happening. We just always invite our constituents to call us at any time. The Assessor's Office has had a lot of information in the news these days. There's a lot going on. Usually generates a lot of concern, so we just want everyone to know that they could always call our office if they have any questions. And that's pretty much what's going on for now. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Fran.
Okay, we will move on to new business. I didn't see anyone else wanting the floor. So we have a resignation letter here. Dear Supervisor Wilt and Riverside Township Board of Trustees, this letter is meant to inform you that as of January 31, 2023, at the close of business, I will be resigning as Riverside Township Clerk. It has been a privilege and an honor working with all of you to serve the residents, businesses, and communities within Riverside Township for the past 6.5 years. As always, I appreciate your dedication. I remain yours in service, Mike Dropka. With that, then, I will declare that there is a vacancy in the position of Township Clerk, and fortunately, we have a very good candidate that I am about to propose for the position. Jay Reyes is a Riverside resident, and his career includes public affairs, legislative and regulatory, government relations, and advocacy leadership. He has been a bipartisan legislative and regulatory affairs advisor, a licensed attorney, an experienced and motivated in political affairs specialist. And his areas of expertise include legislative drafting and analysis, regulatory affairs, administrative rules, drafting, testimony, and public comments, public policy, government compliance, and association management. I can't think of a more qualified candidate for the position of the township clerk. He currently works for the American Bar Association as a staff counsel and chief counsel. And with that, I would submit and move the approval of the following resolution. This resolution of the Board of Trustees, Township of Riverside, Cook County, Illinois, approving an appointment to fill the clerk vacancy on the Riverside Township Board for an unexpired term created by the resignation of Michael C. Dropka. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Township of Riverside, Cook County, Illinois, as follows: that this board hereby approves the appointment of Jay Reyes of Riverside, Illinois, as Township Clerk for a term commencing on February 14th, 2023, and terminating on May 18th, 2025. All ordinances and resolutions or parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed, and this resolution will be in full force and effect from and after the date of its adoption. Do I need to have a vote on the declaration of the vacancy first? It occurred to me.
Not on the declaration of the vacancy, obviously, there's no objection to that, I assume. I think just would
Just
be
on the
appropriate a
resolution.
motion to approve the appointment
Right.
with a second. then-
So, very good. So I move the adoption of this resolution. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second, motion by Supervisor Wilt and a second by Trustee Heilenbach to approve the resolution to appoint Jay Reyes as the Township Clerk. And I will call a roll call vote on this. Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt? Yes. That is a majority, so that I declare that resolution passed. And,
If I may add,
yes,
he's an amazing man of incredible character. And I worked for Coles and Brady in Milwaukee and Reinhardt Warren. And he deserves every bit.
well, we'll put him to work, too. Thank you. And Mr. Reyes, would you please step forward so that I can...
Where would you like me?
You can come around, and I will then administer the oath of office. Not as supervisor, because that doesn't give me the power, but I am a notary.
Yes.
So, okay. If you will please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jay Reyes,
I, Jay Reyes,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Township Clerk
of the office of Township Clerk
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Jay.
Is this one okay?
This is your spot, and we can now put up a sign so that everybody knows who you are.
Thank you.
Look at that, prepared and everything.
All right. Thank you for your patience while we went through the administrative details here. All right. So our next order of business is the grants. And the first grant to be considered is Access to Care. We have a representative here. If you would please come to the microphone, introduce yourself, and just give us a very short recap of what you're looking for.
Sure. Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. everyone that's here this evening. My name is Kimberly Mertz. I am the COO of Access to Care, and I have been here before, so many of you may be familiar with me, except perhaps your newly appointed member. Access to Care is a primary health care program for low-income, uninsured, and underinsured residents of suburban Cook County, and we have been around for 35 years. We provide 3 key components, and that is the ability to see a primary care physician for $5 a visit, the ability to receive lab and radiology services for $5 a test, and prescription medication for $15 to $40 for a 30-day supply. And that is available on an unlimited as-needed basis. In addition to that, we do have behavioral health services, which are in-person or virtual. We have an opioid risk management program that is in place, and we also provide diabetic test strips, flu and pneumonia vaccines, all for free. But the most important point of Access to Care is that we provide medical services to those that are not eligible for any other care anywhere else. So these are individuals that have been going to the emergency room when they're ill, or they may not be going anywhere at all. Nearly 25% of our members are diabetic compared to 6% of the general population. People joining the Access to Care program are coming to us sicker than most. And a quarter of all Access to Care members receive medication for at least 3 or more separate diseases. So these are individuals that are really in need of care and have nowhere else to turn. We are also a referral source for all of suburban Cook County residents, and that is anyone that is looking for our services or services that we don't provide. We work daily with community-based organizations trying to identify the resources to meet those needs, and we're also out in the community as often as we can be. I'm happy to say that this summer you will be seeing us at the Riverside Farmers Market on June 14th, so hopefully we will see you there. A grant of $5,000 for the Access to Care program does provide services to approximately 7 Riverside Township residents. And they would be eligible for all of the Access to Care benefits for a year, for 12 months from the time they're enrolled in the program.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
Kimberly, your
Yes.
program is a good one. It's really, really a great program.
Thank you.
Do you have any brochures? Because we have a community resource center here, and we do get the people that need help. So if we could have some brochures that we could pass out to the people, that would be a big help.
No, absolutely. I know we've done that in the past, and we have some updated materials, so I'll make sure that something's sent to you next
Yeah,
week.
just make sure if you could, please, and let's get it to the CRC.
Absolutely. Are there
How
any?
many people will, Riverside Township residents, would you be able to enroll?
$5,000 would equal 7 people.
Okay, because it says 8 on it.
It's 7.5, I
Oh.
believe, with our per-person cost, so
Round up, round up.
So 2 if they don't use all the
There you go.
services.
And,
is there any other questions?
Then what is your pleasure?
I make a motion that we approve the grant for Access to Care, Suburban Primary Health Care Council.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, seconded by trustee Clark, to approve the grant of $5,000 to Access to Care Suburban Primary Health Care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The motion is carried.
Well,
Well, no,
you gotta-
yeah,
gotta do
I'm
a
sorry, we
voice
need to
vote.
vote. Yes, we're dealing with money, so trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Heilenbach,
Yes,
and Supervisor Wilt says yes.
we can let,
Now on, I'll
we
let you
can
call
let
the roll.
the clerk
Yeah,
do
I
that
know,
now,
I know.
you know, instead of him sitting there.
I lost my
cards.
mind here, so the names are there.
Okay.
So. Okay, thank you, and that is approved. Okay, then our next grant is Aging Care Connections. Do we have anybody here from Aging Care? We do not. Okay. I just spoke with one of them today who was very hoarse, so that may be the
Why don't we
problem.
pass that till next month?
You want to defer it till
Yeah.
next month?
Please.
Okay. Okay, then the next one after that is Beds Plus. We have someone here from Beds Plus.
I have never been here before, so no one knows me. My name is Javon Harris. I am the Assistant Program Officer for Beds Plus. I manage majority of our housing programs. So Beds Plus has been around for over about 33 years. We have several lines of service, mainly being our supportive housing service, which serves scattered sites throughout the suburban Cook County area. So we house clients in permanent supportive housing throughout suburban Cook County. Our main line of service is our emergency services. During COVID, the clients were placed and are still placed in hotel-based shelter, but we have moved back to congregate shelter. So we serve about 25 to 30 people a night in congregate shelter throughout the churches still, again. And then stabilization services, which is one of our bigger focuses during COVID, which is rental assistance. So we've provided rental assistance throughout the suburban Cook County area. We recently opened our Summit Service Center, which serves as a medical respite center. So I'm not sure, I think I see a few places that may have been at the open house, not sure. But our service center will now serve as a medical respite. It has 24 beds that the clients can come to. They have to be referred after they've been released from the hospital. So if they're homeless, if coming from the hospital, instead of being released to the street or to shelter where they have to travel from site to site every night, they would be able to stay at the medical respite center. We also serve about 90 families in the Riverside Township, mainly being our youth families. So we serve 24 young adult mothers for up to 3 to 4 years. That program serves them to, it's a job program where they can go back to school, they can get their GED, they can go through a 2-year vocational training, and then there's a job placement training after that to help them increase their income. And then they are placed in their own shelter, their own housing using the rapid rehousing funds after that. So $5,000 helps to offset the cost for those things, for transportation, job needs, miscellaneous household items that we're not able to use with other grant funding. I went through that quickly, so any questions?
Do we have any questions, board?
Beds Plus, again, another quality organization that does a lot for not only Riverside Township, but most of Cook County. You should be applauded for the good work that you guys do.
Thank you.
Can you address a little bit? I know that we sometimes run into, there's a big backlog when we try to refer someone.
Yes.
How, is that getting any better?
Are you talking about for rental assistance?
Rental assistance and sometimes shelter itself.
Well, shelter now, what helps now is we have the
congregate.
the congregate shelter. That was really kind of tough for us during COVID because there was only so many hotel beds that we were allowed. But now that we have congregate shelter, anyone can come, they can show up and get registered that same night. They don't have to go through the whole process. So after being in congregate shelter, they can then transition if needed to a hotel-based shelter because clients move out of those kind of quickly. We also, which I didn't mention, have interim housing. So it's about 10 bridge units that we rent out ourselves. And we place families in there so that way the children are not in shelter or hotels because that's really difficult for them to be in hotels because our hotels don't have kitchens. We deliver meals daily. So for the children to not be in shelter and kind of live a normal transition, we have apartments that we rent throughout Cook County, mainly in Berwyn and Summit.
Thank you.
But to answer your question for the rental assistance, it technically has not gotten better, only because the county has shifted funding, and now the funding is placed with court-based rental assistance. So, yeah, once the landlord files an eviction, then they're eligible for court-based rental assistance, which goes very quickly, but the rental assistance through the agencies that don't currently have funding.
Well, and with COVID being on the wane,
Yeah.
a lot of landlords are
Yes.
taking action.
Yes, they are. So And most of the clients are the ones that just did not obtain assistance during COVID because they chose not to.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Well, I will move the approval of this grant.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the Beds Plus Care Grant. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Trustee Clark,
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations, thank you.
Nice job, Jay.
Okay. Next, we have Riverside Arts Weekend.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Charlotte Zia. I am the president of the Riverside Arts Weekend. Riverside Arts Weekend started in 2008, and it became a nonprofit organization in 2013. It's completely run by a volunteer board, and we have been finally at a point after 3 years of a hiatus because of the pandemic. We are working towards coming with our full-scale event, a juried art fair, musical and other performance, children's activities, food and fun for the weekend of June 10th and 11th. And as part of that event, we have to do all our sponsorship through the community. And so that is why we have come forward to the township to ask for a particular grant. We are asking for support that focuses on the activities around our children's art experiences. This year, in addition to working with the Riverside Arts Center, we're also planning on working with the Riverside Brookfield High School as well. And then the other piece is our live performance, which will be a mix of both local music as well as bringing in other performances to really inspire and educate the community through various types of genres of music. Excuse me. Additionally, just in terms of background, besides having to go through COVID and close down all our events like that, we also had a reorganization. Our consultant retired, and our board changed over completely. So we're really in this new kind of growing phase to kind of bring the arts festival back and really come back and have a true community event that really brings folks into and gets to experience the beauty of Riverside.
Okay. Are there any questions?
We approve $1,500 grant for the Riverside Arts Weekend.
I second it.
I have a motion by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Heilenbach, to approve a $1,500 grant for the Riverside Arts Weekend. Any further discussion?
Do we get a mention that we were donating? Do you have something, like a banner that the
Yes.
Riverside Township logo can go on?
Yes, we have sponsorship levels, and at the $1,500 range, that includes a logo at the event, so part of the banner, as well as on all of the other promotion and on our website. And then, we also will include that in different advertisements as well.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, I have a motion and a second to approve a $1,500 grant to the Riverside Arts Weekend. Clerk Reyes, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Trustee Clark,
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes,
Thank you.
very good. Congratulations. Thank you for, to clarify, I don't know that I stated the amount when I made the motion. We all had the items in front of us on Beds Plus. That was a $5,000 grant. So. All right, on to the next item number 5 under grants, and that's the Riverside Fire Department.
Jim Mullery, Riverside Fire Department, Deputy Chief. The fire department for Riverside is applying to receive funding to replace our outdated CPR mannequins. For anyone that's not aware, CPR is cardiopulmonary resuscitation, which in the event if somebody's heart stops, you can manually pump blood throughout the body until hopefully they get to the hospital. So the fire department is required and mandated to be certified and then continue a recertification throughout, the career of the firefighter and EMTs to be certified in CPR. The American Heart Association just changed their standards for the mannequins themselves to where they have to have audio and visual feedback to make sure that the students are receiving the most realistic training. So the mannequins that we have now, they don't actually give any feedback as far as if somebody's doing the right depth of compressions and the right rate. So with that being said, the mannequins that we're requesting to purchase would give an audio feedback as well as visual so that the students realize how far depth of the compressions they need to be at as well as the rate so that they can see that, and then the instructor can also see the mannequins to see the lights as far as they're doing the right rate and right depth of compressions. Additionally, we would also be getting 4 AED trainers, which are the AEDs that you place on the patient's chest when they go into a cardiac arrest, and it'll advise if they need to be shocked or if they don't need to be shocked. We will also be getting textbooks for the students to reference throughout the class, as well as the multimedia, the videos and stuff like that for the classes to be taught. The fire department also teaches the police department and public works departments throughout the village to cut down on costs as far as doing out of the village training so that we can do it in-house at a cheaper rate. Additionally, we also would offer that to anybody in the township as well. At this time, though, we only have one instructor, and the American Heart Association requires there to be one instructor per 6 students. So we would have to have classes less than 6 to be able to do that. I believe the grant total was $1,846.78.
It's very specific.
It's certified by the American Red Cross, right? So
That is correct.
if anybody was to take this class, should you offer it, they would be certified by the American Red Cross also.
American Heart Association.
Okay, American Heart
Yes.
Association, that's correct. And do you still do a program? Does the fire department still do a program with the recreation department here in Riverside for CPR classes?
Yeah, so if at the request of those departments, if they want us to teach the class, we'd have to coordinate it with the instructor to make sure that we can get it to work out. Like I said, with the student to instructor ratio, that's the only hang up there.
Yeah, what the recreation used to do is offer it to the residents. I
Okay.
don't know if they still have that program.
I don't believe so. The fire department has not been a part of that yet.
Okay, if that is the case, then I would strongly think that the Riverside Township, for our township residents, would like to offer a CPR class when the fire department's available here. It's simply one of the easiest things to do to save someone's life. And I think putting it out there for our residents would be a great thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Should we approve this grant?
Absolutely.
I make a motion, we approve the grant for the Village of Riverside Fire Department for the CPR mannequins and equipment in the amount of $1,846.72.
78.
78 cents. I don't want to short.
Don't
my
shortchange
6
them those 6 cents.
I want to short you. And keeping in mind that we will make out the check to the vendor on this, not the
Okay.
Riverside Fire Department.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the grant to the Riverside Fire Department in the amount of $1,846.78 for CPR mannequins, textbooks, and AED trainers. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, then Clerk Reyes, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes. Motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it.
Okay, the next grant is being deferred until next month, and that is for Best Buddies. And then we have Riverside Junior Women's Charity.
Hello, my name is Kate Dooley. I am a member of Riverside Juniors Women's Charity, and I'm also the chair of the specific event that we're requesting funding for. That is the Brew Fest is the more general name. This year, very specifically, we are doing blues, barbecue, brews, blues, and barbecue. So we got a little more specific this year. Riverside Juniors has been around since 1937. We are a social and philanthropic organization that provides fundraisers as well as community events, fundraisers, with the aim of raising funds for hyper-local organizations, many of which you've heard from today. I believe all of them actually are ones that we have, including the fire department, are ones that we have donated to in recent years as well as for many years prior to this. Last year specifically, we donated to 31 organizations. We provided services for 4 specific families. I think that's one of the things about our organization that is most interesting and maybe not particularly well known, because we are all members of the community and we have ears to the ground for specific families that may have a need. We are able to reach out to those families, ask if there's ways for support, and then financially support in various ways. For example, one family that had a medically complex child, we were able to reach out to find out if there was a piece of medical equipment that we could provide for them or assist in providing for them. So we had 4 families that we did that for last year. Specifically this year, we are asking for a grant of $2,000 to help fund the blues portion of our event that is coming up on April 22nd. This is the 2nd annual Brew Fest, but it's really I believe it's the 5th brews event that we've had. Previously, it was a brews cruise where we took buses to different breweries. It was planned when the pandemic hit. We didn't have it that year. And then when we came back last year and finally were able to hold the event again, we decided to do it locally. Initially, I planned to have it outdoors because numbers were still spiking at that time. The event took place at the swim club. We plan for it to take place at the swim club again this year. It is a brew fest, meaning that we work with Riverside Foods, bring in beer from various breweries, and provide that to our attendees. This year, we are attempting to elevate the event. We did have good attendance last year, bringing in just shy of $10,000 that we then donated back to the community. But this year, we're hoping to elevate that event. Last year was simply the beer. This year, we're providing food as well as significant entertainment in way of this blues band. Luke Repass is the lead singer's name, and he's bringing with him various other musicians who are coming together and offering this at an extremely reduced cost at $2,000. They're providing their own staging, they're providing their own breakdown setup, they're doing everything for us, but obviously there is some cost involved on their end, and so that's the $2,000 that we're requesting. As I mentioned, that event's going to take place on April 22nd. We will use those funds to put right back into those hyper-local organizations that I mentioned and that you've heard from for tonight. And I think that summarizes it. Any questions?
Or is that included in the ticket price?
So the food is included in the ticket price this year. We included in the ticket price is the tastings, the beer tastings, the food, which is coming from Joe's Barbecue, which is a semi-local barbecue. He used to have a restaurant, but now he does catering, pig roast. He's also we're also offering vegetarian and chicken options. So the beer, the food, the entertainment for 4 hours, and then we have an additional add-on where we're offering a whiskey tasting, all being coordinated through Riverside Foods, who's a great assistance and obviously a great asset to this community as well, but so the food is included.
So you are looking for the Brewfest band sponsorship, basically?
That's right, and it is, I know you asked a previous speaker regarding sponsorship. The band sponsorship specifically is part of our sponsorship package and includes on our banner and all our printed materials, our website, reference to our sponsor. There are also, when the sponsorships were created, tickets to the event that were included in that. I don't know how that plays in when it's coming from, if it were to come from the township, if those would still be available to you or not. Obviously, we would have no issue. I don't know if there is some legal issues with providing those to you or not, but of course that is part of the advertised package. So it is a sponsorship that involves quite a bit of attention as far as on all our printed materials.
So what you're just saying is that Riverside Township would be listed as a sponsor on all your printed material?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
this particular part says prominent logo placement on all Brewfest signage, sponsor listing and other collateral, including inclusion of half-page ad in online Riverside Brewfest guide, logo placement on stage, verbal recognition at the presentation and so forth. So there's quite a bit of, it's the page that looks like this. It's got the gray, and then it's got staggered pictures on the lower right part.
I make a motion that we approve the grant for $2,000 for the Riverside Junior Women's Charity event. It seems like it'll be a good time as a sponsorship for the band.
Okay, I have a motion to approve this grant. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve a grant of $2,000 for the Brewfest band sponsorship for the Riverside Junior Women's Charity. Are there any more questions, any discussion? Then Clerk Reyes, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt,
Yes,
Thank you.
motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and now we have the Riverside Arts Center. Good evening.
My name is Jeremy Black. I am the board president of the Riverside Arts Center. Liz Chilson was our executive director, is our executive director, and she's who put together this grant proposal. We are specifically asking for $4,462 as a grant to basically update our ceramic studio space. That studio space is so integral to this community. It's really where we house most of our field trips from the D96 schools that come in, as well as the surrounding schools. It's a space that's utilized from even older residents who come in and spin and come in and rent space to create. It's definitely a really important part of this community. The Riverside Arts Center has been around for 30 years. We're coming up on our 30-year anniversary this year. And if you look in the grant proposal, we're specifically asking for some needed electrical updates for both the kilns and the pottery wheels to be refurbished. And in this way, it would really help us to kind of open those doors again and utilize those post-COVID. We did have to shut down our doors for a little bit, and we really, really miss having all the student-based populations that come through our doors who were able to help enjoy the arts and to learn and to grow.
Are there any questions?
Here's, they've got the Riverside Arts Center got a grant from us back in,
May.
I believe it was May,
Yes.
for $8,500, which is a lot of money. As you can see by tonight, we try to fund as many organizations as we can. I'm not willing to sponsor the whole event, the whole amount. I would go half, which would be, I think, it was work,
About 2,200?
$22.31.
$22.31. Now, do you have somebody else to provide that other half? of your?
We're a 501c3 and we rely solely on grant and donations. So, yeah, we would have to raise the money, but we would.
I mean, do you have money in your budget to get the other half of this done?
In terms of our budget that was just approved, no.
Okay.
But again, we love to, and I'll check on that because I don't know that specifically because I haven't looked at that specifically, but I will check on that. But I don't, what?
I know that this is considerably more than Liz had indicated
Got
when
it.
when she first reached out. Was there a chance, since they'd already gotten a grant once?
Yeah.
Was there a chance of getting a grant? I said, well, as long as, it still fits within our parameters.
Sure.
At the time, she was talking, maybe 1,000, 2,000.
Got it. Yeah. Hey, and look, we appreciate you so much for the previous grant we received from you, and it's well utilized. I'll leave it to your discretion, really.
Well, I mean, the reason I asked that is because when we go to pay this, we're paying the vendor. So if you don't have the other half of the money set up,
Sure.
I'll approve it and let you, of course.
We'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
Sure.
But we pay the vendor because we
Sure.
can't just give you the money, so.
Perfect.
I don't know about what the rest of the board thinks
Well,
on that.
I don't know about paying the vendor, if that really works in this case, because it's not a taxing body. That's usually what we reserve for taxing bodies. However, I noticed that there's several different chunks of this
They're
grant
different
request.
vendors who are
Right,
contributing to,
and-
they're separate. It's electrical work and then it's
And
kiln
are there
repair.
some components that are higher priority than others, I guess would be my,
I think the electrical portion is on a high priority because it's specifically trying to make this space safer because we have extension cords running that are trip hazards. We're trying to really streamline that process to make it safer, and then digging a trench to the back kilns to try to make those work. Having things that are unoperational is never best. If we can have it operational for the community, that would be much better, so.
well, and there were from the same vendor, there were a couple of estimates, I want to say, no? I think there was ABC, there were two different
Sure, yeah.
items, so, if you could work around it, then I probably would be of the same vein to get partial, if that would help.
Yeah, anything would help, really, because the arts organizations have really suffered through these last couple of years specifically, and we've done really well. We've raised a lot of money. The mural that we put up on the wall over there has just been a huge draw, and we really enjoy having it there. We're really trying to give back to the community, and anything you could do would help us out greatly.
I make a motion that we approve a grant in the amount of $2,231 for the Riverside Arts Center, knowing that we realize that you've had it rough the last couple of years,
Sure.
especially with, this COVID. But you do provide a very big resource for the residents of the Riverside Township, and we do appreciate it. And that's why you're getting a little extra money. You've gotten a nice chunk of money already, but we want to help you out as much as we can.
Appreciate it.
I have one other question before we vote.
Well, you know what, so that we can discuss, I'll second that motion
Okay.
and go ahead.
All right. You're totally separate from the Riverside,
Arts
from
Fair.
Raw?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So yeah, we're also a completely volunteer board, but we're a completely separate organization. Yeah.
Okay.
But we collaborate with them, so.
All right, any further discussion? Then Clerk Reyes, would you please call the roll? I have a motion and a second.
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt,
Yes. Motion is carried.
Thank you,
For
guys.
2231. Thank you very much. Okay. So our next item of business is the township trustee vacancy. As, of course, we all know, and we paused for a moment of silence for our late trustee Leanne Blau, who passed on January 30th. And so I would ask that we have, well, I would declare that there is a vacancy. I don't need a motion again for that. Okay. Right, okay.
Minutes, I think.
So I declare that there is a vacancy, and I have provided, it's very similar to what we did last time we had a vacancy on this board, but I would like to just read into the record, and for those who may be listening at home, that this is a notice of vacancy and procedures to fill the vacancy. Riverside Township hereby gives notice that there is a vacancy for the position of township trustee due to the untimely passing of trustee Leanne Blau. The board invites letters of interest with resumes to fill the vacancy. To qualify, an applicant must be a legal voter and a resident of the township for no less than 1 year. Resumes must be submitted no later than 4 p.m. I would recommend Wednesday, March 1st. In person during business hours from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday, Friday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the township office in the town hall at 27 Riverside Road, Riverside, first door on the left, or by mail to Vera A. Wilt, Supervisor, Riverside Township, 27 Riverside Road, Riverside, Illinois, or by email to supervisor@riversidetownship.org. The board will then interview qualified interested parties by appointment with the goal of appointing a trustee to fill the unexpired term at its March 14th regular meeting. The current term ends on May 18th, 2025. Are there any suggestions for any changes to that, or is the board, does the board approve our going forward with that notice?
That's fine.
That's workable?
Good, yep.
Very good. Then that will be published starting tomorrow, and we have roughly 2 weeks of open possibilities for submission. And again, we don't need a motion on that, or should we?
No, I don't think so. There's no
Okay.
objection to that. Everyone was in agreement, so I think you're covered.
Very well. Thank you very much. Next order of business is the approval of our audit engagement letter from Selden Fox. I will note for you that the amount of this, let's see. So the engagement letter fee is quoted at $9,400. That's $450 more than last year, but the total increase over the past 4 years has been at an average of about 3%. So I would move the approval of the engagement letter with Selden Fox to do our audit this year. This year, in this fiscal year that's current, we had budgeted $9,500 and we paid less than that. So I don't have to change the budget item for this for next year if we know that that's the amount. So as I said, I move to approve the audit engagement letter. Do I hear a second?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Supervisor Wilt and a second by Trustee Heilenbach to approve the engagement letter with Selden Fox for our annual audit. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well, no, it's an expenditure. Sorry. Roll call, please.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes. I'll get this straight one of these days. Okay, motion is carried. Thank you. We have a couple of special event requests, and since these are requesting alcohol, this has to come before this board. So the first request is for a private event on May 27th, which is Memorial Day weekend. It's the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. And they are requesting, this is for a 15th anniversary, they are requesting the auditorium, starting, starting at 1 p.m. That's probably to set up, and the event end time would be 11 p.m. Anticipating about 120 people, about 8 of whom would be township residents, There's no admission, there will be alcohol served, and there would be food served. They are aware of all the rules that would be necessary. I would just like to make one comment on this. This is the third request from this individual. The first one, but this is the first time they're asking for alcohol. The other events were on January 14th. There's one that they've already got planned for March 18th, and then this one they're asking for May 27th. Don't know if we want to limit individual residents in the number of events.
Well, that's something we can discuss at
Right,
a later date.
Right.
You know, if we don't have it in there now.
right, okay, I
really don't want to sit there and say, well, this is your
Okay.
third time, and now all of a sudden we're going to change
okay.
the rules.
So I present this for your approval, and I'll answer if you have any questions if I can.
Is that going to be an issue that it's Memorial Day weekend?
Well, I mean, I'm not going out of town or anything, so I can come and open up, but otherwise, we would be paying extra for somebody else to come in on that day. The rental on this would be $400 and a $200 deposit. I'm kind of surprised it doesn't look like they're asking for the kitchen, so they're probably just bringing the food directly to the auditorium. What is your pleasure?
I make a motion, we approve this.
Okay.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Heilenbach, to approve the request for the use of the auditorium with alcohol on 5/27/23. And there's no expenditure involved, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried with my vote as
We
well.
also want to, we'll discuss that.
Yes, I wanted to call that to your attention so that we can put that on a future agenda to see about that. The other event that we have a request for is for Saturday, June the 24th, and that would be a birthday party, and they are looking for use of the auditorium and the kitchen, and looking for yes to alcohol, and there will be no admission charge, yes to food and alcohol. So again, this requires, it's a special use application, so the rental on this would be $400 for the auditorium, $50 for the kitchen, plus a $200 deposit. And what is your pleasure?
Well, I would make a motion to grant this as long as they have the proper insurance.
Yes, that, in all cases, that, yes, that would be the
I'll
case.
second it. PB.
Okay, I have a motion and second to approve a special use application for June the 24th. And again, we have no expenditure here, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. I'm voting yea on that one as well. I'm too busy asking and forgetting to vote. All right. Thank you very much. That is approved. We have a separate request. This is an annual event. It's not in the nature of a grant. We have done this sponsorship for Aging Well Month, from Aging Care Connections. Typically, we have supported them to the tune of $1,500, and I would recommend that we do that again. We do get coverage in their promotional materials, and we've also, we've participated sometimes, but we usually give them some tchotchke for their giveaways as well.
Make a motion, we approve the Aging Care Connections Wellness, Age Well Month, and the amount is $1,500. Am I right?
Correct. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, seconded by trustee Clark, to approve the $1,500 sponsorship for Aging Well Month. Any discussion? Then this, if not, then this will require a roll call vote. So Clerk Reyes, would you please? call the roll?
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes. Okay. The other item is really more informational. They always ask us to participate in that same packet. You see that they have what they call their GEMs. They ask for nominees who are seniors who go the extra mile. That's what GEM stands for. And I would like to nominate Nancy Dvorak, who has both put together that calendar this year, but she also worked hand in hand with me. She's on the benevolence committee of PEO, and she helped one of our residents get a $6,000 grant for repairs to her home that were desperately needed. So I would like to nominate her, and we'll submit that tomorrow because I think that's their deadline.
It's a great choice.
Yeah, and when I got the rest of what she does, I was very well impressed, so. That doesn't need any action. Next, we have the Riverside Farmers Market. We have both an invitation to participate at the community table. I know last year, the CRC was there, but I think they went, they can go and we're invited to go as well. I just wanted to check if I can't do the entire time, I will see what dates are still available, but if the township is interested in participating, then I would ask for the table. It's their community table. They have the table and the tent, so we just come with our information and so forth.
I'd be happy to help.
Thank you, thank you. Then, I don't think that there's, let's see, is there a financial commitment on it? I don't believe so. They do it just for community organizations. So I will let them know that we will participate. And then it's time again to think about the vouchers for the farmer's market. It'll be here before we know it. Last year, we provided 4 vouchers per month. That was $20 a month to our regular food pantry recipients. And I've given you some statistics. The total paid to market vendors by Riverside Township in 2022 was $2,120. And the utilization kind of goes up as there's more stuff available. So 43 of the 60 voucher holders used at least some of their vouchers, and 34 voucher holders used all of them. Total vouchers were given to a total of 60 people. So what is your pleasure? Do you want to repeat the same thing again? I would want to know this for budgeting.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a motion, since this would be an expenditure, I have a motion to do the same as we did last year for the farmer's market vouchers?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Heilenbach, to do the same for $5 vouchers per month this year. Okay, any further discussion? Then I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes. And motion is carried. I don't need approval for this, but I do like to let you know, it's my duty to let you know each time I make a change. I want to make a change to the policy on our general assistance. We are currently at $500 per month. I would like to go to $600 per month. Some support for this is that I recently took a look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and the last time we changed this to 500 was in August of 2020. When I set that amount, that $500 had the same buying power as today takes $575 and change. So I think going to 600, I've discussed this with a similar size and demographic township. They've gone to 650. I don't think we need to go to 650 at this point, but I am, as of the first of the month, will go to $600. And I would start right away, but I need to give certain notices to those who are getting it. So just letting you know that we do have the funds to do that in general assistance. Other than that, I would just like to, let's see, I want to let you know that we obtained 2 desks and storage towers from the Riverside Police Department because they're refurnishing. And so those were delivered a little sooner than we expected. Last Friday, the first one was set up today. The other will be set up later in the week as other business within the office allows. They're the more modern, they're certainly not as classy as the old big wooden tables, but they are more suitable to today's technology. They have the management of cords available to them, and they have the higher desktop for the use of computers as opposed to the lower typing returns and so forth. So, as I said, we've set one up, and I think it's going to function very well. But with that, that means that there are 2 classic wooden desks that are available. If anybody's interested in them, they are very heavy and they're pretty good size. So if anybody has an interest in them, please contact our office at 708-442-4400 to express interest in those 2 desks that will be surplus. Quite coincidentally, today, we discovered some new repairs are needed in our boiler room. Riverside Plumbing was here to do an estimate on another smaller matter that we had been deferring, and while they went down there, they discovered that our the feed tank, the tank that holds the water that feeds into the boiler, was leaking. And it's a very old tank, so of course you can't just replace it because nothing quite that size or configuration exists. So they have come up with what they believe is a solution, but I don't know yet what that cost is going to be. But just so you know, we're going to have some more building expenses. And the new tank will be a combination it'll be the holding tank and the feeder pump, I believe is what they're referring to. So I will keep you posted on what that cost is. In other news, Nina Tagliola, our new staff member, is catching on nicely. She's been getting familiar with all our operations. She's going through all files, organizing the office. She's setting aside documents that either can go into storage or that our new clerk and I have discussed. We're going to be looking at some document retention issues. We've got a little bit too much sitting here. So that will be what we'll be going forward with. But she's very, very adept at computer things, and she's a very organized person. So, and I think the people are going to like her. She's been very cheerful. So that's my other news. Trustees reports. Trustee Clark, do you have anything for us?
Yes, Lobby Day has been changed to, from April 19th to April 26th. And the exercise class is still going well.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Trustee Hollenbach?
Yes, good evening. The Mental Health Board has got their CIT class set up for the local police departments to get CIT training. That'll be from March 13th through the 17th. Thank you to the staff for making sure that we had enough room to put everybody. It's a great program, and I know our local police departments are very excited about getting this done, as it has become a state law. We have been working on the budget for the Mental Health Board, and we had a budget committee meeting last week with a couple of us, and it looks like the budget is going to come into it'll come into play very nicely. We're hoping to get over the hump with the county. Again, same thing with the township. with the money that's being, held back because of the taxes with their software issues. So we're ready for that. And that's about all for right now. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Okay, unfinished business. I think I'm going to be meeting this coming week with Mr. Kankar regarding some financing for the bridge. In the meanwhile, the contract is still a little bit in flux with the vendor, but it should be just about finished. I saw that there was a response to some questions.
The architect copied answering some of the questions I had, so my sense is that it's pretty close.
Yes,
Finalizing.
the contractor has actually been in touch with me a couple of times. He's chomping at the bit to get started, so
Yes.
we will be dealing with that shortly. Discussion of the 2023 to 2024 township budget. I would propose that our next scheduled committee of the whole focus a great deal on that. I should have a draft budget at that time, and we can get closer to approving a budget then. So that would mean we would meet on March the 7th. And
It's at 6:30, right?
that would be at 6:30, correct? And then, let's see. I think that that's all I have on those two items. Unless you have any questions, I'll try to address
I
those.
have one question. We're going to do these candidates too.
I don't know if we'll do them the same night. We'll take a look. I don't know how
I would
many.
rather do it on a separate night.
Okay.
That's just me. I know that puts it into a damper for some people.
Right.
But it seems to me that we'll be racing through, the budget or the candidates to let's separate it
Okay.
and give them the time that they deserve for taking the time
Oh, absolutely,
to be
absolutely.
a member of the township.
Well, I'm sure that by the time we get the proposed, the applications, that we can do, I think we only need 48 hours to announce an open meeting. So we can then schedule it, maybe, I don't know what that week looks like. If it's all due on March the 1st, which is a Wednesday, and our committee of the whole regular meeting would be on the following Tuesday. I don't know if anybody would be available on either Monday, the 6th, or I hate to ask for a Friday, but Friday the 3rd would also be a possibility.
I am not available on Monday the 6th.
Okay, Then we could-
Nobody on the 8th or the 9th?
we could do it, afterwards then, on the 8th or the 9th. Either one of those should be all right for me. Do you want to schedule that now?
Sure, whichever one is fine. That's the Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday?
That would be, 8th or 9th would be Wednesday, Thursday.
I would prefer if you do it on a Thursday, because then I'm not sure if I've got a meeting in there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Thursday would work fine.
Thursday, the 9th?
Yeah,
That's fine.
that's fine.
And what time?
And what time would you want to do that?
Well, we start them, we give them each a half hour, am I right?
Sure,
About a half hour?
yeah,
So I would say 6 o'clock.
okay. All right, we will plan on that, and I have 3 individuals who have expressed an interest, but I didn't ask for formal things until,
You got that right.
until we declared the vacancy, so we will plan on March 9th at 6 PM for interviews. Okay. Then on to unfinished business. I'm sorry, on to, for your information, we have, I just want to announce here that although the annual town meeting is by law scheduled for April 11th, next month at our meeting, I anticipate approving an agenda, and to that end, that would be on March 14th, we will have the approval of the annual meeting agenda. But before that, it should be known that if individuals want to submit anything for that agenda, it takes 15 people that are voting members of the community to present an item for the agenda, and that must be presented by March the 1st, so that all the time things come into play. So that is by law when those are due. So March 1st takes 15 or more registered voters in the township to request an additional item on the agenda. Okay, and then we can move on then to the approval of warrants.
Moves that the board authorize and ratify payments of the bills identified on the general warrant for February 2023 in the amount of $25,933.72 as presented to this board on the 14th day of February 2023.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, seconded by trustee Clark, to approve the general warrants for February 2023 in the total amount of $25,933.72. Is there any discussion? If not, then I ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes. Very good. That motion is carried.
Motion by trustee Heilenbach that the board ratify and authorize payment of the amounts indicated on the following warrants. The utility warrant for February 2023 in the amount of $2,045.89. The payroll warrant for February 2023 in the amount of $20,815.76. The health warrant for February 2023 in the amount of $3,043.78. The general assistance warrant for February 2023 in the amount of $7,504.80.
I believe that's 90 cents. Did I write it as 80?
I've got
Sorry.
80, is it supposed to be 90?
It should be 90.
Let me correct it. The general assistance warrant for February 2023 in the amount of $7,504.90. The Township Radio Players warrant for February 2023 in the amount of $200. The Food Pantry warrant for February 2023 in the amount of $60.50. All of the above presented to the board this 14th day of February 2023.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, seconded by trustee Clark, to approve the following warrants in the following amounts for February 2023. The utility warrant in the amount of $2,045.89. The payroll warrant in the amount of $20,815.76. The health warrant in the amount of $3,043.78. The general assistance warrant in the amount of $7,504.90. Township radio players warrant in the amount of $200 even, and the food pantry warrant in the amount of $60.50. I have a motion and a second to approve these. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, then Clerk Reyes, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes. Motion is carried to approve those warrants. I just want to make a small note on the financial reports that you have. Next month, we'll be looking to do some budgetary transfers. For example, there was one of the grants that should have come out of senior citizens' budget line, which came out of the general funds in town programs, that is, and so it looks like there wouldn't be enough to fund the grants that we have proposed, but that there will be some shifting of that. So just those notes, and next month we'll be doing some housekeeping. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Heilenbach, to adjourn this meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
Happy
opposed?
Valentine's Day, people.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.